Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because what went down in that Atlanta courtroom makes keeping up with the Kardashians look like Sesame Street. King Harris, T.I., and Tiny's infamous son, better known for Instagram tantrums and street life cosplay than actual music, just got slapped with a 5-year sentence. But the real plot twist: Daddy Tip himself lost his mind in front of the judge, the jury, and half of social media. This wasn't your average courtroom meltdown. T.I. didn't just object, he went full Rubber Band Man versus the system, turning the trial into the biggest live show since Beyoncé's Coachella. One moment the gavel dropped, the next, T.I. was pointing, shouting, and damn near freestyling in front of the bench. Eyewitnesses swear the judge's glasses fogged up from pure shock. The internet? Oh, it detonated. Memes flew faster than Usain Bolt, hashtags piled up like Nick Cannon's kids, and rappers lined up to drop hot takes like they were auditioning for Law and Order. Hip-hop unit. So get ready. Because this isn't just about a sentence, it's about a courtroom circus so outrageous it makes reality TV look like Sunday school. When the judge uttered the words 5 years, the courtroom didn't just go quiet, it erupted like somebody had just spoiled the ending of Power in the middle of a family dinner. King Harris, son of T.I. and Tiny, heir to Atlanta hip-hop royalty, went from celebrity kid to convicted felon in one slam of a gavel. And if you thought the drama stopped there, you clearly underestimated Clifford T.I. Harris, the man who once said he'd handle life expeditiously. Spoiler alert, there was nothing expeditious about what happened next. King Harris had been spiraling toward this moment like a reality star, chasing a messy reunion special. Over the past year, he's been all over social media, fighting in Waffle Houses, mouthing off on Instagram lives, and declaring he was built for the streets while simultaneously living in a multi-million-dollar mansion with security systems better than Fort Knox. He became the poster child for a privileged kid with a fake thug starter pack. Fans mocked him, haters roasted him, and even some of his peers called him the Tekashi 6 IX9 in of Atlanta suburbs, but no one expected a real prison sentence. 5 years wasn't a slap on the wrist. It was a heavyweight punch straight to the family legacy. And that's when T.I. lost it. Witnesses said the transformation was instant. 1 second, Tip was sitting stiff in his tailored suit, jaw tight but controlled. The next, he was up on his feet, finger in the air like a Southern preacher mid-sermon. "This is injustice," he shouted, the kind of booming voice that once rattled stadiums. Eyewitnesses claimed the court reporter stopped typing just to watch. The judge, stone-faced just moments earlier, looked like someone had unplugged his pacemaker, and it wasn't just words. T.I. slammed the table so hard the microphone squealed. He pointed at the prosecutors like they'd just stolen his publishing rights. He waved his hands so wildly you'd think he was directing traffic on Peachtree Street at rush hour. One court insider said it was the most Atlanta thing they'd ever seen, and another swore they half expected T.I. to start rapping his objections and rhyme scheme. Security moved in, but not before the meltdown had been immortalized on 100 cell phones. Within minutes, the footage was everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, the clips multiplied like Nicki Minaj alter egos. Hashtags like hashtag expeditiously guilty and hashtag free king trended simultaneously, proving once again that the internet will never pick one side when it can make memes out of both. One viral post showed T.I. screaming, edited over with WWE intro music. Caption: T.I. versus the state of Georgia main event. Another had the judge photoshopped into a versus battle, with Tip on stage yelling, "Run them years back." Even courtroom sketches went viral, reimagined into anime-style fan art of T.I. going Super Saiyan against the justice system. But not everybody was laughing. Critics sharpened their knives immediately. "This is what happens when you raise your kid on privilege but try to sell in the street," one Twitter user wrote, racking up 50,000 likes. Others went in on T.I., accusing him of entitlement. "You can't hustle the system." Tip: "Judges don't care about platinum plaques." Meanwhile, celebrity reactions came pouring in like they were RSVPs to the hottest scandal of the season. Boosie Badazz, as always, lit up Instagram Live like it was his personal CNN. Puffing a blunt the size of a microphone, Boosie declared, "That judge trippin'. 5 years for Tip's boy? They trying to make an example." His comments were a mix of support, skepticism, and trolls reminding him he's got his own legal messes to handle. Then came 50 Cent, the troll king himself. Curtis couldn't resist. He posted a meme of T.I. pointing in court with the caption, "Expeditiously sentenced." It spread like wildfire, sparking old debates about their past beef. Fans weren't just discussing King Harris' fate anymore. They were predicting another T.I. versus 50 Cent Cold War, complete with diss tracks, interviews, and Instagram pettiness. And if that wasn't enough chaos, reality TV stars chimed in too. Tamar Braxton tweeted, "This courtroom needs Andy Cohen to moderate, because baby this was giving reunion special." Fans dragged her for turning it into Bravo content, but others agreed it really did look like Love and Hip Hop. Court Edition. Meanwhile, mainstream outlets jumped in. CNN anchors awkwardly attempted to pronounce expeditiously, while Fox News used the case as their latest hip hop is ruining America's sermon. One anchor even claimed King Harris was proof that rap culture breeds crime, ignoring the fact that the kid grew up closer to private chefs than prison bars. The discourse spiraled from funny memes to political talking points faster than you could refresh a timeline. But let's zoom out. Why 5 years? Prosecutors painted King as a repeat offender who thought his family name made him untouchable. They dragged out his viral brawls, his reckless antics, and every clip of him bragging about being street certified. They argued he wasn't just acting out, he was spiraling, and the system needed to teach him a lesson. The defense tried the "he's just a kid making mistakes" angle, claiming fame warped his sense of reality. The judge, unmoved, dropped the hammer. 5 years. The crowd gasped. Tiny reportedly teared up. King looked stunned, like somebody had just unplugged his TikTok ring light. And T.I.? He went nuclear. That outburst wasn't just a reaction. It was a cultural earthquake that ripped the trial out of the courtroom and dumped it straight into the court of public opinion. Because here's the truth. This wasn't just about King Harris. This was about fame, privilege, parenting, and the blurry line between keeping it real and keeping it ridiculous. T.I. didn't just defend his son. He exposed a fault line in hip-hop itself, the way celebrity kids inherit the fame but not always the discipline, the spotlight but not always the consequences. In the internet, never one to let nuance get in the way, turned it into a full-blown circus. Memes, hot takes, reaction videos, podcasts, all dissecting the same few minutes of chaos from every possible angle. For some, it was comedy gold. For others, it was tragedy. For everyone, it was impossible to look away. The Harris family's drama had officially crossed over from gossip to cultural event. And this was just the beginning. If T.I.'s explosion was the earthquake, then the internet was the tsunami that followed, washing away every ounce of courtroom seriousness and replacing it with pure meme-fueled chaos. By the time Tip had stormed out, the story wasn't just local Atlanta news. It was a full-blown cultural event trending worldwide. Twitter became a digital gladiator arena. Fans weren't just tweeting opinions. They were dealing with memes like it was the Hunger Games of comedy. One viral post edited T.I. into a Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney video game, slamming the desk and yelling, "Objection." Another had King Harris photoshopped in an orange jumpsuit with the caption, "Street Life Unlocked, 5-year trial version." Every hour, new memes dropped like mixtapes and people devoured them like snacks. And if memes were the appetizers, rappers' reactions were the main course. This was hip-hop's favorite pastime, piling onto a scandal. Boosie Baddiss was already doubling down, puffing smoke and defending King like he was a defense attorney working pro bono. "They targeting Tip 'cause he a legend," Boosie declared. His comments went viral, split between fans cheering him on and trolls saying, "Boosie defending somebody else's son when he got enough problems of his own." Then came Meek Mill. He dropped one of his classic vague tweets. "They always try to break us with these sentences." Fans immediately went CSI mode. Was he shading the judge? Was he talking about systemic injustice? Or was he just trying to insert himself into the trend? Either way, the tweet racked up retweets like candy at Halloween. Of course, the troll king couldn't resist. 50 Cent slid in with another meme, T.I. edited into a courtroom with the caption, "Expeditiously content." The post had over 1 million likes in hours, reigniting their ancient feud. Suddenly, fans weren't just debating King's sentence, they were predicting another T.I. versus 50 rap beef, complete with diss tracks, Instagram rants, and late-night interviews. The internet loves nothing more than recycling old beefs for new clicks. Even Snoop Dogg joined in, though he kept it chill. He reposted an old photo of himself and T.I. with the caption, "Keep your head up, nephew." Court crazy sometimes, simple, smooth, and effortlessly cool, classic Snoop, adding just enough without turning it into drama. But the circus wasn't limited to rappers. Reality TV stars came charging in like they'd been waiting their whole lives for this. Jocelyn Hernandez tweeted, "This judge act like he on Love and Hip Hop reunion. Somebody get me a mic." Tamar Braxton added, "That courtroom chaos was giving real Bravo energy." Within minutes, the case had gone from Law and Order to Love and Hip Hop in the eyes of the public, and then came the think pieces. Bloggers and culture critics swarmed like vultures. Headlines read, "T.I.'s outburst exposes the fragility of hip-hop parenting." Others claimed, "King Harris sentenced, a lesson in privilege and consequences." Podcasters went long-form, turning it into 3-hour debates about generational wealth, celebrity parenting, and whether or not King was built for prison or just built for Instagram. But the internet didn't want nuance. It wanted entertainment. TikTokers made comedy skits reenacting the courtroom meltdown, complete with wigs, cheap suits, and dollar store gavels. Instagram creators dropped reels captioned, "When the judge sentences your son but you still got bars." One particularly viral video had T.I.'s outbursts remixed into a drill beat, turning "This is injustice" into a hook. Within 24 hours, DJs were spinning it in clubs. Still, not everyone was laughing. Activists started weighing in, pointing out that King Harris' sentence, while shocking, wasn't as heavy as what non-celebrity kids might face for the same crimes. Some argued that 5 years was too harsh, others said it was too lenient. The debate spiraled until it became less about King and more about America's justice itself. Suddenly, CNN was running segments with panels of experts analyzing T.I.'s meltdown like it was foreign policy. Anderson Cooper even attempted to pronounce expeditiously on air, and the internet had a field day. Meanwhile, the Harris family couldn't escape the storm. Tiny trended after fans dissected her reaction shots. One meme froze her stunned expression mid-sentence, captioned, "When your son wanted street cred and got the deluxe package." King's siblings were dragged into the conversation, with trolls predicting they'd follow in his footsteps. The Harris brand, once known for blending music and reality TV, was now synonymous with chaos. And in Detroit, Chicago, New York, everywhere hip-hop holds weight, people were debating whether King's sentence made him real or just ridiculous. Some said prison time would finally give him the credibility he craved. Others mocked him, saying no amount of prison would erase the fact that he grew up in mansions and private schools. The split was vicious, with debates getting nastier by the hour. But the real mess came when King himself allegedly reacted behind bars. Sources claimed he told fellow inmates, "This gon' make me legendary." Naturally, that quote hit the blogs immediately, spawning another wave of TikToks mocking him. Creators dressed up in orange jumpsuits while sipping frappuccinos, captioned, "Gucci in the gulag." The joke wrote itself, and just when you thought it couldn't get wilder, the music industry smelled opportunity. Rumors swirled that labels were preparing to re-release T.I.'s old tracks with courtroom chaos themes. Streaming services boosted Harris family playlists. There was even talk of a documentary pitch floating around, Hollywood titled The Sentence, The King Harris Story. Because if there's one thing the industry knows, it's that scandal sells. And this scandal? It was platinum. By the end of the week, one truth was undeniable. King Harris' 5-year sentence wasn't just a legal story. It was the latest soap opera in hip-hop's ongoing reality show, a saga of privilege, parenting, and pure, unfiltered chaos. And if you thought the internet was going to let it go anytime soon, you were dead wrong. The story was just beginning, and the fallout was about to get even uglier. The courtroom may have emptied out, but the scandal didn't leave with it. The aftermath stretched far beyond Atlanta, echoing through every timeline, podcast, and group chat like an endlessly looping hook. T.I.'s outburst and King Harris' sentence had already gone viral, but what followed was a cultural hangover, messy, unforgiving, and impossible to shake. Let's start with King himself. For years, he'd strutted around Instagram Live, jawing about being street certified, flexing like he'd survived the Hunger Games of Atlanta while living in gated luxury. Now, he was facing a reality check colder than prison food. Reports leaked that King was trying to keep his head high, telling associates this was going to make him legendary, but the internet wasn't buying it. TikTok creators mocked him daily, editing clips of his past rants spliced with prison footage. The most viral one? A video of him saying, "I was built for this," overlaid with someone folding laundry in jail uniforms. Millions of views, endless laughter, yet behind the jokes was a darker truth. 5 years is no slap on the wrist. And even though King might act like he's embracing it, insiders whispered that his bravado was starting to crack. He thought he'd get out quick, one source said. Now he's realizing this ain't a vacation. It's real. The internet laughed, but the streets nodded knowingly. Fame can buy a lot of things, but it can't buy time off the clock. Now let's talk about T.I. because while King was adjusting to life behind bars, Tip was dealing with the fallout of his courtroom explosion. What he thought was a fatherly defense quickly morphed into meme culture's favorite new genre. Late-night hosts joked about it. Fallon quipped, "Apparently T.I. tried to object." Expeditiously, even courtroom sketch artists became internet stars after fans mocked their drawings of Tip mid-outburst, calling them Picasso's version of parental rage. But the damage wasn't just comedic. Legal analysts warned that Tip's outburst could actually backfire, jeopardizing any chance at appeal. Judges don't forget being screamed at, and the DA's office doesn't appreciate being turned into villains in a viral rap opera. What T.I. thought was righteous fury may have actually dug his son a deeper hole. The irony? The very system he tried to challenge might have doubled down because of it. Meanwhile, Tiny was painted as the silent casualty. Clips of her crying in court turned into reaction memes, but behind the humor was sympathy. Fans flooded her social media with "Stay Strong Mama" comments, turning her into the human side of the saga while T.I. became the chaotic caricature. The Harris family wasn't just split by the scandal. They were being cast into roles by the internet itself: King the wannabe thug, Tip the explosive dad, Tiny the suffering mother. And outside the Harris circle, the industry feasted. Bloggers wrote endless hot takes. King Harris, when privilege meets consequences. Podcasters milked it for multi-hour episodes. Rappers dropped subliminals about King in new tracks. One viral bar reportedly went, "Y'all boys screaming street till the judge hit the beat." The line spread across social media faster than wildfire, further cementing King's case as part of hip-hop's lexicon. Even activists spun the scandal into bigger narratives. Some argued that if a rapper's son could get 5 years, then the system was truly merciless toward everyday black youth. Others countered that King was lucky, that any regular kid would have gotten double. The debate raged on CNN, Fox, and YouTube live streams, with King Harris' name plastered everywhere like he was the latest headline star of a soap opera. But the real kicker? Hollywood smelled opportunity. Rumors swirled about a docuseries already in talks, with working titles like Expeditiously Guilty, The Harris Family Trial, or The King Sentence. Streaming platforms never miss a scandal, and the Harris story was primed to be the next binge-worthy mess. Fans speculated whether Tip would produce it himself because if there's one thing T.I. knows, it's how to turn chaos into cash. And still, the memes didn't stop. King became the butt of every joke, with edits showing him in imaginary jail cells filled with luxury items, Gucci slippers, Xbox consoles, lobster dinners. The running gag? Rich kid prison starter pack. It was cruel, it was hilarious, and it was unstoppable. Yet beneath the laughter, the fallout left scars. King's name, once just a punchline for his antics, was now cemented in infamy. T.I.'s reputation as the wise elder of hip-hop took a hit too. Instead of being the calm mentor, he was now remembered as the dad who went WWE on a judge. The Harris brand, once reality TV gold, was being dragged through the mud by its own spectacle. And that's the twisted beauty of it all. The courtroom chaos didn't just punish King. It rewrote the legacy of the entire family. From here on out, every move they make will be viewed through the lens of this trial. Every song T.I. drops, every post King makes, every time Tiny shows up in public, people will whisper, "Remember that day in court?" The scandal may fade, but the shadow won't. And if hip-hop has taught us anything, it's that chaos never ends. It just waits for the next beat to drop. So the question lingers like smoke in the air. Will King Harris serve his time quietly and try to rebuild? Or will this scandal be the rocket fuel for an even messier second act? Will T.I. double down on defending his son, or will he finally learn that even fame can't bulldoze the law? And most importantly, what's the next headline in the Harris family saga? Because if there's one guarantee in this culture, it's that the show never stops. And this courtroom circus was just the season finale of Chapter 1. And there you have it, the sentencing that turned Atlanta's most famous family into a full-blown circus act. King Harris didn't just get 5 years. He got 5 years and a lifetime of memes. T.I. didn't just lose his temper. He turned a courtroom into a rap concert, a WWE brawl, and a Bravo reunion all in one. Tiny didn't just cry. She became the tragic cutaway shot in hip-hop's wildest reality show, but now it's your turn to weigh in. Was King Harris' sentence fair justice or a publicity stunt dressed up in legal robes? Was T.I. a passionate father defending his son, or a celebrity trying to freestyle his way out of the law? Drop your verdict in the comments because, let's be honest, the internet jury is way more entertaining than the real one. And don't leave me hanging like kings. Gucci belt and county lockup. Smash that like button like you're banging the judge's gavel. Hit subscribe harder than T.I. hit that courtroom desk. And ring that notification bell the way TMZ rings lawyers after a meltdown goes viral. Because tomorrow, next week, next month, another scandal will erupt. Another rapper will implode, another courtroom will collapse into chaos, and another meme storm will rain down. And you better believe Trend Tattle will be right here, dragging every detail into the spotlight, exaggerating it, roasting it, and serving it hotter than McDonald's fries at midnight. So keep your popcorn salty, your timeline's messy, and remember, in hip-hop, the truth doesn't bring peace, it brings chaos. This is Trend Tattle, where scandals don't just trend, they take over.